Okay. Alright, this video I made 2 weeks ago, and I didn't post it because I hadn't gotten to it. And then last night I was praying about it because it kept coming back. The pride video. The pride lesson. I'm like, lesson? I'm not a teacher. Well, the Lord led me to take a spiritual gift test, because the spiritual gift video was what I was going to work on next. Because that's another thing that's going to get on my mind a lot. And he redirected it, and I took this test, and one of the gifts that came out was teaching. And I'm like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. Well, the Lord is training me down that avenue. And I'm not comfortable with it. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not. But what the Lord wills, the Lord wills. And what the Lord wants is not always what we want or always what we think we are. So, this video is kind of more like a teaching video than me just my opinion and me talking, which was the other pride video, which is still accurate and good, I think. So, I might still use that one. But this is a serious matter to him. So, last night when I was praying about this, he brought back memories of when I first got saved. What was the first lesson I learned? What was the first thing I was taught? You know, and I, besides reading the Bible and the gospel and salvation and being a new creation and those kinds of things, I had to think back, and he brought it all back to me. One of the first things that changed was my language. I didn't curse anymore because I had a bad mouth. I cursed all the time. You know, I would yell words when I was mad or in an argument with my husband or whatever. I was very foul-mouthed. And that went away really quick, immediately. It was a transformation in my language, which is why that happened. The other thing was the issue of pride. And that's what this is about, pride. I never saw myself as a proud person when I was lost. I didn't think of myself that way. I recognize pride in people, and I always got it. I figured it was conceit, because I was not a conceited person. So I found pride to be a disgusting trait that people had. And even when I was lost, I aimed to not be that kind of person. But I had no idea that I really was proud, because every single lost person, every single one, their number one sin that has control over them is pride. Pride is very fleshly, and it's the natural man. It's the natural. And it is of Satan. He was the first one to ever have pride, and pride is what created or manifested in him that produced his fall and who he is today. So God is very, this is very important to God, for people to learn what pride does and what it really is. So I had to take this video very seriously, and he showed me a lot in prayer last night. So I kind of had to restudy it last night all over again in a crash course of about 2 hours, which is not enough at all, but he put me through this pride lesson as one of the first things that happened after I was saved for quite some time, and I remember it. So let me just get to it. First of all, it's important to know that God hates pride. This is one of the things that he just despises. Okay? He hates pride because he loves people, and pride prevents people from receiving help from God. Period. Every lost person has this problem, and this is what prevents them from salvation. This is what prevents them from seeking the Lord. This is what prevents them from surrendering to him. And this is what prevents them from studying and going to God about their problems, going to God about everything. And someone can go to God and still have pride in them, and then they won't see God the way they could. So there's many verses that I'm going to find and post here. In Proverbs 8:13, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogance, and the evil way and the perverse mouth I hate. He hates a perverse mouth. He hates bad language, cursing. And I used to be very, I would tell people, yes? Hi? Pride is the root of all sin. It's the root. Now, I've known this for a long time. I learned this at day one, pretty much, that pride was the root of all sin. When I surrendered my heart to Jesus, I had to remove some pride just to do that. You know, and there was just no way you could come to God with all that pride on you. I was humbled, and that's going to have to be a testimony. I'm going to have to share my testimonies. One of my friends told me just yesterday, you have to share your testimonies. Because I've shared them, with certain people, I have so many of them. And she's like, you got to share them. They're very strong and powerful, and you need to. And so I was like, I guess God's telling me to make my testimony videos here pretty soon. I got other ones I want to make first, and then I'll make those, because those will take a lot out of me. So, okay, anyway, pride is the root of all sin. It's the most serious and the most subtle sin. It often is not recognized as existing to begin with. People that have this problem don't see it. They don't see that they have a pride problem, and sometimes God has to do something very big in your life to just crush it in order for you to come to him. And those are when you hear people's testimonies, a lot of that is there. That's why when you're testing if someone is truly saved, the number one test is to get their testimony. If their testimony does not make sense and does not match up to the Word of God, like on how God works, and it's not complete, and it's not true, and it's not a real, they're not saved. I'm sorry. Just because they were a little kid and they accepted Jesus as a little kid, they have to have some kind of other experience in their life to make sure they really did have that born again transition. So pride is the root of all sin, and it causes us to turn away from God instead of turning to him. All disobedience has pride as its root. All rebellion has pride behind it. All mistreatment of other people is caused by pride, and someone putting their self and their feelings above someone else's feelings or self is pride. This is a sin that even if it gets stripped away, 85%, it's still going to come creep in your walk here and there. It will come, and you're going to have to deal with it because it will grow. It always grows. Okay. What comes out of a man is what defiles a man. Okay? That defiles a man. Mark 7:20-23. For For from within of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousnesses, wickedness, deceit, licentiousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these things come from within a defiled man. Okay, so that's important to understand what it looks like. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world, John 2:16. And the world promotes people who are proud and often gives them great riches. God says pride is evil and defiles a man. Okay, now the word gay just slipped out of my mouth, okay? I guess because that's another video I was going to be making this week about this whole gay stuff going on. But that is like the pinnacle of pride, those people. I'm sorry. They are so proud of what they are. And yes, some of them are ashamed of it. Thank God they are. And they hide it. But we're getting to a level, or we've been in a level, where people aren't hiding it anymore. And they have no shame at all. And the pride has just completely, they have become gay because of their pride. Okay? I'll talk about this in another video because it's very important. But just hang on to that one later, because I was just about to go into something that came. No, I can't do it right now. No, not yet. I'll do that on another one. Okay. Pride prevents people from receiving. The wicked in his proud countenance does not seek God. God is none of his thoughts. Psalms 10:4. Okay, I know people like this. They don't think about God at all. And a lot of those people are religious, or they have a religion that they don't really do anything with it. They just have it. Like, they just have it on like a title above their head, like, I'm this, so I'm fine, and those people make me ill to be around. Really do. I'm sorry, they just do. God resists the proud but gives grace to the humble, James 4:6. Can we receive God's blessings? And pride is faith in yourself. Faith in God is not faith in yourself. Okay, when you put your faith in God, you're putting your faith in God. A lot of people have faith. I listened to a sermon about that yesterday. And I just love how the Lord will just tie things together. He'll give you a sermon. He'll give you some kind of little mini life experience lesson or some kind of thing. When He wants you to do something for Him, He will prep you for it. So yesterday, there was a sermon on faith. And there's a lot of people that have no problem with having faith. They just have it in the wrong things. They have it in their abilities. They have it in their talents. They have it in their jobs. They have it in their self. They have faith. They have mountains of faith. If they were Christians, they would be amazing people in the kingdom. That faith that they have in all those other things would do so much more for God than they would ever even understand, and they would be so satisfied. That's why they keep chasing things, because they're not satisfied, because they're missing that one element, God. And I get so sad when I see people that are so good at certain things, and it's like, you would be a great leader, or you would be a great teacher, or you would be a great encourager, or you would be a great server, and they just don't do it because they're not saved. Okay, and anyway, pride causes people trouble, okay? When pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom. That's Proverbs 11:2. Proverbs 16:18-19. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better to be a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. I'm here. I am right in this, because before I was saved, I fell hard because of my pride. I fell very hard. Another testimony on that one. Better to be humble spirit and with the lowly. I would rather be around, and this is just how I am. And I was like this before I was saved. But there was a time where I kind of like went the other direction on purpose, intentionally, because that's what I was being taught to do. I was in one of this motivation, kind of positive thinking, surround yourself with people that can build you up. Do you know how vain that is? Just use that. There is. I'm going to have to do another video on this. Oh my Lord, it's just, Lord, how many do you want me to make? That's that new age positive thinking movement. It's just. I once had a friend post this real quick. Let me just say this. I once had a friend post this on Facebook about and it was my former boss where I worked, and this was like 2 years after, maybe 3 years after I was saved, and she put some quote up there about surround yourself only with people that can build you up, and she meant it like on a money point of view, a success point of view, and I was like, that's not what Jesus would say. Jesus associated more with the low and the poor and the suffering and the weak and the sinners and the sad and the wretched of people that this world just pushes down the real low. They don't want to see them. They don't want to be around them. They don't want to help them. That's the opposite. This positive thinking, new age crap is the opposite of the Bible, okay? And talking about, like, ignore all that and just go for what you want, kind of stuff. Oh, gross. Makes me sick. It really does. And I said something when I saw that post, because I was like, that's just rude. I would rather be around poor people before rich people any day. Well, I am poor. I am a poor person. But I would rather be around that than the rich and the successful. Because they make me ill. Why? Because they're puffed up with pride. That's why. I answer my own questions. God answers my questions for me. Okay, a man's pride will bring him low, but the humble in spirit will retain honor. Okay, that's Proverbs 29:23. Okay, manifestations of pride. Okay, these are things that will cause pride. When I really, went over this again, I remember learning all this when I first got saved, and it was so eye-opening, and thank God dealt with this first, else I would have became a judgmental, I'm better than everybody else because I'm saved person, which that tries to creep in, that does try to creep in, and I have to squash it when it comes up. Neglecting the Bible and prayer will cause pride in your life. Those who neglect prayer have the same root problem. They think they can make it without God. They don't need God. They don't need to pray. Okay, I did not handsome. They're very smart. They're smart people, educated. College graduate. All this stuff. That's why I have a lot of problems with college graduates. I've always had problems with college graduates. If you're a college graduate, congratulations, you went to college. That's it. Don't be running around acting like you know everything. And because people that haven't been to college, I guarantee you know a lot of regular street stuff that you don't know. So you're gonna have to maybe catch up on that avenue, because I'm telling you, street smarts are going to get you a lot farther in life than a college degree. It's just, there's plenty of people that can prove that. But people will use that, their intelligence, what they learned in life, as something to get puffed up about. Prosperity and successful accomplishments. Yeah, rich people aren't already, they're just, the pride got them the money, okay? The pride is working for Satan, so he's going to let them get that money. Okay? And there's nothing worse than someone who doesn't have money and they're so pride that as if they do. Oh boy. I'm not trying to judge. I'm just trying to teach. Lord, if I'm doing it wrong, I'm so sorry. I told you I'm not a teacher. But he says, yes, you are. You're going to teach this. And I'm like, no, I'm not, God. Don't do this to me. Okay. All right. Spiritual power, supernatural miracles will make you proud. Well, yeah, I've been there. I was there when I was lost. That's another testimony. I was in a spiritual game of satanic stuff that I didn't even think was satanic at the time, because it was New Age and witchcraft and stuff like that. And I thought I was doing fun things, you know. I thought I was doing good things. I thought I was a good witch, you know. It's just, and that sure did lead me to a level of pride I should have never been on. Okay, inexperience can lead to pride. Yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you haven't experienced certain things, you're not going to have experience in those things. If you haven't experienced a fall, watch out. You might not be on the right side of it at all, because where's that humble experience to bring you to the Lord if you don't have some kind of fall? And if you got saved without any kind of fall, really make sure you're saved. I'm just telling you. Even if it happened when you were younger, there had to have been something that you experienced to bring you to the Lord, like some kind of impact. You know, on my little girl, she was only 7, but it impacted her. She was crying all night when she found out that lying was a sin. That's another testimony. All right. Okay, pride is associated with being novice. This implies that with experience, people should be less susceptible to pride. It further implies people will fail a lot. What else but failure could cure us of pride? So if you're this kind of person that never lets yourself fail, I gotta drive. If you're this kind of person that never lets yourself fail, how on earth are you ever going to learn humility? There are people I know that just, failure's not an option. Failure's not an option. Stop kidding yourself. Really. Even when we're working for the Lord diligently and boldly, a failure is going to come. We're human. We make mistakes. I'm sure there's a mistake in this whole video somewhere. There was a mistake when the Jehovah's Witness came up to me and I didn't witness to her. That was a mistake. Okay? That's going to bother me all day. Alright, I'm going to stop here. This is going to be a lesson video. It's going to be in parts, because I don't want to just make an hour video and then someone like cuts it off halfway through. If you really want to know this stuff, you'll stay and listen. That's just how it is. Oh, I didn't finish. Wait. Other things that cause pride. Thinking you are better than others. Oh, I did that. Being overly busy. Being overly busy. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Lord, for stopping me and reading this. Being overly busy can be a manifestation of being proud. Some people think they have to do everything themselves because no one else could do it as well as them. That is pride and can certainly keep someone very busy. Continual busyness, even in a ministry, is a sign of pride. I'm a very busy person myself, but there are times where I have to stop. I have to stop what I'm doing and go to the Lord about something. When I make a video, I have to stop what I'm doing and take the time to do this, because I could be doing something else right now. I could be working, I could be cleaning the house, I could be doing something productive, because sometimes I feel like if I'm not producing something, I'm wasting my life, I'm wasting time, valuable time, the time's running out. God, I gotta get this all done, I gotta do this. Sometimes he's just like, whoa, stop it, sit down, child, talk to me. Sit down and talk to me. And if you do have a busy schedule, and there are things you have to do, like work and pick up your children and run errands and do chores, and there are at least at the end of the day, don't just plop into bed and go to sleep. Get yourself a good 2-hour window at night and focus on God. Not social media, not reading a book that's not the Bible, or a book that's not edifying you in your walk, you know, like a entertainment book. Forget those. A movie, forget it. yeah, you're going to have time where you want to do that stuff, and you're going to have to satisfy your flesh and watch that stupid movie, or satisfy your, I need to do something else, Lord, I need a break, and you just go and do something else. See, this is another video I got to make, because the walk and life of a Christian is so full of action. When you're living it the best way you can live it, there is no time for movies. There is no time for entertainment. You'll find it in your life, like especially if you have kids, you gotta entertain them, and you gotta enjoy life and have joy in life and pleasure. I understand that, but you have got to make that time for God. If God is getting put to the side all the time, just keeps put it on the back burner, to the side, in the closet, shut the door, I'm busy, I got stuff to do, I'll get back to you, oh, whoops, I fell asleep last night and I didn't pray, whoops, I fell asleep again, I didn't read the Bible, whoops, I fell asleep again, I didn't do anything that was for you, Lord, or something that he could do through you, Lord. You gotta take the time, you have to, okay? And it's like, it's just as important as spreading the gospel.